Hey guys, Prodigy's in here with another Overwatch Uprising Legendary Solo Queue video. This one's for Torb, and I wanted to show sort of the end of this run we did right here, because it actually took me two tries to get this done in solo queue, and I wanted to show kind of how this one goes wrong. We heard that tank bastion spawn up a little bit ago, and look, Reinhardt just flies out with barely any health, goes in, doesn't keep his shield up, or doesn't have people behind his shield. We just basically didn't back out quickly enough, and everything goes to hell. Sort of the main problem with this run is Reinhardt said he would fill and picked Reinhardt, but
oh boy,
he didn't really know what he was doing on a lot of parts, and he wasn't in team chat, so our team sort of, yeah, I sort of BM him a little bit. I'm like, Ryan, you gotta get in team chat. But the team was not discouraged by this, apparently. They thought we had a pretty good run. So we decided to queue up once again.
We can probably stay.
We do actually make it on our second run. So I'll basically keep the video going through this, and yeah, you can see a little play of the game there. For some reason, if you kill a bunch of splicers, that always seems to get play of the game. So fun to see. And yeah, everybody's gonna team up right here. So yeah, this one's gonna be using Torbjorn. Hopefully you saw the Tracer video. I think I'm a little better at Torbjorn than I am at Tracer. Also notice the 5 golds there. If you're playing Torbjorn right, you're gonna get the 5 golds every game, just because Torbjorn's turret, when it ults, especially with Molten Core, does a ton of damage. Torbjorn's left clicks have a ton of utility. You can get the most dominant kills every single game. You can help out with the Bastions, you can help out with Eradicators. There's just, this is the character that just can go like above and beyond as far as like having an impact on the game. There's nothing too key. I mean, like Reinhardt I think is the most key character to, like, you have to know what you're doing in order to do well in it. But with Torb, if you just keep doing well, it's very basic. You just kill stuff. You kill a lot of stuff, and you keep doing it.
Hello.
So that makes me pretty high. This guy's microphone is super terrible. But now we have everybody in team chat. We're going to coordinate a little bit.
Yeah, it's a scruffy mic. Come at me.
I'll try to remember what I said in this game and see how it goes. I just threw out a little trade there. Nothing really matters, as Torb you always end up as the last one getting to point here and don't have much to do. On this first point, I like to put the turret right here, because the right side is the one that, you know, things come in really close and start to shoot you and can be a little bit troublesome, so I like to sort of just cover right side as Torb. Basically, in general, you mostly want to left click as Torb. Left clicking as Torb is super powerful. It's 3 shots to kill a nil trooper, or 1 headshot and 1 body shot will kill it. So the better you do at left clicks, just think of yourself as like a little mini Hanzo. You're kind of just sniping stuff like crazy. I think the turret, in a lot of places, the turret is secondary to your left clicking as far as killing stuff, because the turret doesn't headshot. The turret takes a while to kill even a null trooper. So the other thing to note, pretty importantly as Torb, is you're producing armor for your team. And the #1 character that gets a lot out of your armor is Tracer. So as much as possible, try to give your armors to Tracer. Keep some for yourself, because if you don't have armor and you go down, you start getting shot, you want to be able to throw some armor on yourself to deal with that. Mercy heals herself, doesn't need armor as much. Ryan already has armor, so it's sort of not a very big effect, and he's like tanking damage a lot, so it's kind of a waste to give him armor. It disappears almost instantly. On the second point, I like to put the turret right here, and then stick around for these first few kills. You notice when the Eradicator spawns, I just sort of train on it and just hold left click and kill that, kill the Eradicator. So here's a little cute spawn block I like to do on second point. I don't think it goes perfectly here. I'm kind of trying a slightly different spot. But you sit back here. Not much spawns up front. This is sort of to try to prevent stuff from going into hotel and like wrecking your team. Now here, at just before about 70%, I like to hit my ult. Because one, that's when some stuff spawns on me and starts dealing damage to me, and I want to stay alive. And that's also when a ton of stuff spawns up front, and so my turret's shooting basically non-stop this whole time. The only thing we kind of have to worry about is that, you know, Eradicator that spawns behind. And the entire front was practically taken care of by my turret. It doesn't even kill everything. Our Ryan goes down right here. He kind of went a little ham with that ult. But we'll take our time right here and just sort of slowly move up. I'm going to build another turret. I don't really care about having a turret in these places too much. Again, I'm basically just focusing the Eradicator. I actually take his aggro right here, and he starts to shoot at me, which is not super great, but it works out. Third point again, I think is a pretty important spot for Torb. If you watch the Tracer video, I mentioned it. I like to build my turret right here. You can either build it here or on the staircase. Ryan did a good job here. He knew that Eradicator was probably going to spawn, so he came up there and protected me from it, charged it outside. But as Torb, I kind of mess up the spawn block again. But as Torb, you basically want to stay on this staircase. So I ult there just to make sure I get that Eradicator down. Don't really need much else. You can go out to this ledge and try to shoot stuff. Be very careful if you do that, because one, you can fall off that ledge pretty easily if you aren't used to how far you can sort of edge up to it. And two, it sort of unblocks spawns if you don't want to get killed. So if I just sit here, this is going to be a pretty boring spot for Torb. I basically just throw out armor for Tracer whenever I can. I throw it out to the far left in hopes that only Tracer goes over there. And then I just sit here. And like, barely anything comes inside. Nothing spawns on this top right. Every once in a while something comes through the side door and we have to deal with it, but that's about it. And we just let Tracer and Ryan cover practically everything on that point. And as I said before, Ryan's, you know, kind of new to this game mode and isn't doing, you know, everything perfectly, and it still works pretty easily, third point. So having that spawn block just honestly makes that point super easy. For this point, you can put your turret in a few places. I kind of like the spot where I put there. I think I recommend most just putting it on the payload. Some people like to put the turret up high because it quote-unquote doesn't get shot at, but the thing is eventually it does get shot at and it does go down and you have to build it down low anyway, so I'd say just start it out down low and deal with it. I'm doing the same spawn block that I did as Tracer. I don't think it's super important. Leave here at about 350 or so. But that makes all the dogs spawn on the left side, and then you can sort of all focus left side and cover them and not have to worry about the right for a while. So my turret in this position hits everything except for like what's in the farthest most left, which is kind of why I like this spot. It means I can focus. I know that if I focus whatever is farthest to the left, then my turret's not going to be hitting that, and I will be doing something useful by killing whatever's farthest to the left. But mostly on this point, we're going to just try to, you know, left click as much stuff as we can. Get kills. I like to throw out armor towards this green door towards the center. I don't have a ton of scrap right now, but that green door towards the center, I sort of make the armor central. It means that people can get it when they want it. Ryan doesn't accidentally get it very much. And yeah, and always save some for yourself too, just in case. We decided to go for killing the detonator here. Normally that doesn't happen. Normally Ryan will just shield it, but try to help out with that if you can. I decided to ult here just because there's a bunch of dogs spawning and I want to make sure that we take care of them all. Plus that next detonator is going to come up and it's going to take a lot of time.
You can just wait until it's about to explode.
Never mind that interruption. Anyway, so turret goes down right there. Not a big deal. I think as far as like your ult usage here, you basically just want to ult as often as possible. I mean, not as often as possible, but you can get your ult back very quickly. So just
Bastion
you know,
on the right here.
try to have it for the Bastion fights maybe, but for the most part, it's not super important. Your left click ability really carries this whole thing. Maybe use your ult if your turret's getting low. It's a nice way to get your turret back to full health. Use your ult to keep yourself alive. Use your ult to help you put out DPS. But Mostly you want to have your turret up as often as possible. Left click like mad. So here I actually get killed by that Bastion. That kind of happened because I took aggro on him. So I shot at that Bastion while I was coming in, because you do kind of want to help out with the Bastion kills. But if you're getting the aggro on him, then he will take you down super quickly. So you have to kind of be careful about your positioning when the Bastions are in. You'll see later in this run, I think I sort of have to hide from a Bastion. So again, I'm going to do this spawn block I like to do. Not super important. We'll get our last detonator. There. An Eradicator spawns on the right there, and I just try to left click him instantly. Make sure his shield goes down and stuff. And I probably ult here, I don't know. I should probably have ulted. Yeah, there's a Bastion there. This is the last Bastion that really matters, since the other Bastion will get destroyed by the payload as it blows up. So yeah, I do opt to ult here to make sure he dies off. My turret right now, this is one of the weaknesses of this turret spot, is sometimes I'll try to shoot the stuff to the far left and miss a lot. So maybe don't use this turret spot. This is just sort of my experimental, where I like to put it. I'd say put your turret like directly on the payload is probably just the best overall. Ryan does a good job getting the detonator there, and we make it to the next spot. So going to this next part, payload 2, I like to put my turret facing backwards here, just because your turret, the direction your turret's facing is actually kind of important, since it determines, one, your turret doesn't have to turn. Your turret doesn't have to turn all the way around to get stuff behind the payload. And two, it sort of determines its priorities. So this like sets up my turret to be like mostly focused on what's behind, which in general is going to be like the place that people are ignoring the most. And here, first Bastion, gonna go ahead and just ult it. I like to, if you can, try to have a Torb ult. Try to have a Molten Core for every Bastion. It's just the easiest way to DPS the Bastion down on this section. The Bastions can be really perilous on this section, and if you have a Molten Core available and can hit it when the Bastion's actually in range, actually killable, then it's super huge. And almost lose my turret there, but I don't quite. I tried to shoot the null troopers that were killing it in order to get them off of the turret. But yeah, it's mostly just hard left clicking. Here I'm gonna let my Ryan deal with that detonator, and I just cover the front while everybody else is covering the backside. Cover those dogs. I think a couple times during this I call out where Eradicators are for my Tracer, which is pretty important. We have a Bastion up in front, probably an Eradicator too, and I go ahead and hit the ult when I hear him basically coming around that corner. You should probably wait until you see the Bastion to confirm where he is, but this worked out pretty well. You know, we wrecked the Bastion pretty hard, nobody really took much damage. Eradicator in the back left, I just call out there for the Tracer, so Tracer's gonna go for it, and we get our next Bastion coming up. I don't have ult for this one, so what I'm gonna try to do is if we kill off all the dogs, we can get our turret to like go forward around this corner, end up a little bit safer. I already have almost 50% ult, so I'm just gonna try to help DPS this Bastion, and eventually, I don't quite get ult off of it, but I am gonna get it right here and hit it instantly just to make sure we can kill off this Eradicator. All these little dogs that spawn have an easy time. So ideally we'd have an ult right there. It's really hard to have an ult for all three of the Bastions. It is possible, but it kind of depends on like their pathing, where they decide to go. So
got that achievement just now.
And our Ryan notes that
yeah,
we got 80% payload health bonus here, and he just got his achievement for that. So obviously he hasn't played too much on the other modes. He just went right in for legendary.
Alright, so last time we did this I had no clue what everybody was doing, so we leave the first Orisa alone and it doesn't spawn the others. Okay.
So as our Reinhardt just summed up there, we're gonna leave the Orisa. If you watch the Tracer video, we covered it there, but basically if you leave the first Orisa alive, the tank Bastions do not spawn. They won't spawn until after you kill that first Orisa, so we just go over to the side, focus the Bastion. Next, we like to kill off the Eradicators and stuff here, and then I think you should go through this room, use some armor for yourself, and then Reinhardt sort of shields and covers people as they make this next transition. I tend to go a little low as Torb sometimes, generally because, you know, I figure I have armor, I can deal with it. And here we're just going to go right in on this next bastion. Ryan gets the charge in, puts up the shield. I have to reload, but we do kill him off. Mostly you're just DPS output here, and again, I think it's mostly like left clicks. If you're at close range, feel free to right click. But
Perfect.
like my turrets die here, and it doesn't really matter that much. I'm just mostly left clicking. The damage output from your left click is higher than that of a turret, so it doesn't really make sense in a lot of cases to spend a lot of time building your turret up. I do it here just because I want to have trash covered a little bit. This part gets a little bit sketchy though, honestly. It's kind of not the best setup for us. I probably should have just come with him and helped him on high ground. But I'm gonna ult here to make up for it. You can get your ult back really quickly in this area as well, so it's fine to just spam it a bit. Honestly, like, if you just played this game mode and hit Q as Torbjorn every time you had it available, you'd probably make it through. That's how powerful I think it is.
We gotta focus hard.
And so here we go, gonna go to this Orisa. I'm gonna kill off her ult thing really quickly. I kind of put myself in a bad position, or like I'm expecting Ryan to have the aggro and he's doing other stuff. And then I'm just gonna, like, I don't even care about my turret now. I'm literally just gonna point at Orisa and left click her head as much as I can. Just look for that head hit box, hold left click. I don't even hit all the headshots. It doesn't matter, she dies super fast and the left clicks just do a ton of damage. So you can try to help out as Eradicators, as Torb. Still ideally better for Tracer to do it, but if you gotta do it, you gotta do it. And here, I just sit so far away and just left click her. It doesn't even matter.
Come up.
Now this is the one spot that I like to have a turret up. It's nice to have a turret up, particularly if you can put it in that position during the Bastion fights, because it stays protected from most of the trash, mostly the Orisa, and it'll still help out shooting that Bastion a little bit. I'm probably going to lose my turret, or maybe it's trained on some other stuff, but also having the ult there means that I can left click a lot faster on Bastion and work him down really hard. So that was pretty safe. I mean, we took some damage, but the Bastion didn't really threaten us. It was mostly just the trash hurting us. So yeah, try to save your molten cores for the Bastions, the tank Bastions. That's really where it's necessary. And Orisa goes down once again, super easily. There's going to be another Bastion again. There's like one shortly after you kill the first Orisa. There's one at about 2 minutes, and there's one at about 1 minute. So we have 2 10 at spawn. I don't think there's like an exact time they spawn at. I think it's based on like when you killed the first Orisa. And I'm going to ult here to finish building my turret, and then just go ham on this Bastion. I can tank like 3 or 4 hits from the Bastion as a Molten Core Torb, so I like to just like not worry about taking aggro. I'll take the aggro if I can, tank a couple hits, and just DPS them so hard. And they just melt if you're Molten Coring, especially if you have the turret hitting. So here I am actually going to build a turret. It helps out with trash. You know, we're going to be here long enough that'll help. I throw a bunch of armor up front for my team. I'm trying to deal with some of the trash, but I think it's, as you can see here, it's like sometimes really hard to hit him, so probably not worth it. Like, let somebody else do it, and then just focus on landing all of your left clicks on these Orisas. Oh, they ulted, so I'm gonna try to help take that out again. Like, I'm jumping around a lot and stuff, but you don't even need to, and we aren't even gonna kill the last Bastion, because we just completely wrecked those last 2 Orisas with a couple Molten Cores.
We gotta teabag them!
Alright, I'm done with this game forever now.
Forever. That was all of the achievements I needed for the rest of the event. I got the hard, expert, and legendary, and the 80%.
So we helped somebody else get their legendary achievement right there. Always nice to see. So
MLG Torb play.
It's doable to get the achievement. And yeah, so once again, Torbjorn hits Q, gets play the game. Very easy.
Alright, good playing, guys.
And nice, that was
that's
awesome,
about
guys.
it.
Thanks
yeah,
for the carry.
just recognize the power of your left clicks as Torb is the main recommendation. You do a ton of damage with them. You can kill anything from any range. With a little practice, you can even kill like null troopers that are moving and stuff. So,
Fool, you can head 4s.
That's about it. Hope you guys enjoy and manage to get your legendary achievements.